Once again, it's time to bring in my colleague and social media reporter, Mariama Diallo herself. Mariama, take it away.
Thanks, Shaka. It seems that the unexpected resignation of Pope Benedict XVI has Roman Catholics worldwide speculating on who will replace him as leader of the largest Christian denomination. Many believe the next pope should come from the developing world, particularly Latin America, where Catholicism is the dominant religion, or Africa, where Catholicism is rising and more than 150 million Catholics reside. Now let's take a look at the question of the week for today's program. Should the next pope come from the developing world? Well, thanks to all who responded via email, phone, or social media. Shaka, here are just a few that I'd like to share. And we're going to begin with a comment from Thabang Majama, an information and research officer at the Media Institute of Southern Africa in Lesotho. He says, Cardinal Peter Turkson of Ghana is the youngest of them all at age 63. We do not want a pope who will resign a few months down the line due to ill health. I will go for him. Another reaction comes from Orlando Nelson from Abuja in Nigeria, who commented that a higher power should select the Pope. And he says, God should be the one to choose and not us. Well, Shaka, 2 points, one about age and the other one about a higher power.
Very interesting, Mariama. First of all, I'd like to correct the impression from Lesotho that the Ghanaian Cardinal Peter Turkson is the youngest cardinal. That is not correct. The correct answer would be an Indian or Asian, if you will, cardinal who happens to be in his 50s. And in fact, 56, I think. It really shouldn't matter how old someone is as far as being the Pope is concerned, so long as his colleagues find him the man who is fit to lead them. But of course, as you have heard, Mariama, there are a lot of doubting Thomases down there that there is no democracy in the Vatican. That, for example, a Tedler from New York says, there is no way you can ever have a black pope in his lifetime. But you know what, Mariama? There are a lot of people, perhaps including Tedler, who thought that as long as they lived, there would never be a black man or a first lady in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Well, I'm going to come to that like in a few minutes, absolutely. So we'll move on to Arthur Jeremiah of Kampala, Uganda, who writes, I think a pope from Brazil would be better because it is the biggest Catholic nation with over 100 million Catholics. I think that will raise the faith and its image in Latin America. And Ronnie Gilbert from Khartoum in Sudan commented, it appears easy to suggest an African pope, but history does not support it, making it so hard to have hopes for an African. Well, Shaka, you were just talking about it, and 2 more points this time. The first one makes his case for a pope from Latin America, and the second one brings out history. Yes, history is important, but if you look at the U.S. president, like Shaka, you just said about Barack Obama today, you remember that many said the same thing about him, that the U.S. had never had a black president before, therefore his chances were slim.
You know, I have to say that both history, perhaps, and geography may in fact favor Brazil. First of all, it would be democratic and fair, given that it is perhaps the largest Catholic country on this planet Earth. And also, don't forget the historical and perhaps kinship relationship, frankly, between Rio de Janeiro and the Iberian Peninsula. You know, they speak Spanish and, you know, Latin pretty much is like the foundation of that language and what have you, so it wouldn't be surprising. But you know what? As I told Tedler earlier, I had learned a long time ago to stay away from the phrase never. You may be entitled to your opinion, and that's very legitimate, but certainly not to your different sets of facts.